Dear Animal Collective, why is it so hard to understand your lyrics and your complicated songs? Oh, sorry guys, I was just sending out a tweet. If you're not following me at ARTV Reviews, well, you're missing out. I wasn't able to actually type all that correctly. I was pretending, I'm sorry. What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for a review of the new and highly anticipated record from experimental pop group Animal Collective. The follow-up to 2012's Centipede Hurts. This new one is called Painting With. I'm excited about this one, and I was excited for it, I guess I should say, mainly because the ideas for this record started to bounce around and come to life in Asheville, North Carolina. I don't live that far from here. North Carolina is my home state, and I totally understand why that would be an inspiration for them. Asheville is a very music-centric city, and there's a lot of weird and experimental vibes coming out of there. You'll just see drum circles pop up in the middle of the streets, and it's really interesting to me, just the people that are there, and just how diverse and friendly and just spirited it is. And I think some of that made it onto this new record, Painting With. I'm not gonna claim to be a huge Animal Collective fan or enthusiast, but I have really enjoyed some of their projects in the past, like Strawberry Jam, and especially their magnum opus, Merriweather Post Pavilion. That same trio that participated on that record, Geologist, A.V. Tear, and of course, Panda Bear himself, aka Noah Lennox, are participating once again. They kind of have a revolving door lineup. One of their members, Deacon, doesn't always play into the records, and he sat out for this session. So I thought it would be interesting to see what they did with that same little group that created such a wonderful and just beautiful album, I think. It's one that has stuck with me for years, and on Painting With, I don't see that coming through once again. There's not as clear of a portrait this time, and that's kind of weird considering the inspirations for this. They claim to have been inspired by the basics, starting from cavemen and dinosaurs and working their way up, kind of like some old stuff meets modern psychedelic pop. And it comes off very polished, energetic, but downright dark sometimes whenever it comes to the lyrical content, if you actually choose to try and follow along. Trust me, I don't blame you if you can't. Some of these songs, like The Burglars, for example, holy shit, try keeping up with that just because the vocals are so all over the place. And I think the vocals are where I want to start with Painting With. There's so many ping-pongy moments that go all over the place. It's just like back and forth between Panda Bear and A.V. Tear, and it's just so too much. It's almost an overload on some of these tracks, and I'm listening to songs like Vertical, and it's just the delay and the effect, and I'm gonna play an example for you so you know what I'm talking about. Couldn't you see that being just a little bit too much if it's coming all the time on a 42-minute long album? I mean, not only that track, but Bagels and Keiv, Summing the Wretch. There's just a lot of tracks that do it well, but then there's some that are just like beating you over the head with it. I will say this, I like a lot of the synthesizer tones that they use, but it can get a bit frustrating for me considering how often some of the same and weird sound effects come out. It just sounds like they were playing around with keyboard sounds and seeing what weird synth effects would work. I mean, on Golden Gal, the track that is probably the next to best on this record, one of the best and most standoutish moments, they get those harmonies flowing, channeling everything from the Beatles to the Beach Boys, which is why I love the kickoff track Floridada so much, just so much enthusiasm, great vocal harmonies. It comes through once again on Golden Gal, and I think it's a fantastic tune. The synthesizers actually just have a little bit of a jump to them, and they kind of bounce around, and it just feels like a free-for-all, a free spirit playing to their strengths and incorporating a lot of great things that I've loved about Animal Collective in the past without just being there for the sake of being there. You see, the album wins whenever it breaks up the monotony a little bit and throws us a little bit of a curveball. Tracks like On Delay are ones that I really enjoy. It reminds me a little bit of of like the Postal Service meets the Beatles, a little crossover tune there. I like how they build up the synth tones and it just kind of bumps its way up and the vocals come across not too chaotic, but at the same time, you know those backing vocals are still there pushing things, but not necessarily distracting you from the point of the song. I want to say that I understand the effort behind some of these tunes, but then again, I just don't really connect with them. Like tracks like Vertical, that's the third song on this thing. It comes out of Hocus Pocus, which already has its flaws for me. I had some trouble getting into the track. I just don't really connect with its message or just the way that the synthesizers and just everything else in terms of the instrumental comes together. It doesn't really feel like that necessary or important of a song, and that's not a good thing considering this is already a shorter album from Animal Collective. But on track number 3, it's got this long build-up and then the very simplistic chorus, which I feel like is calling for like, hey, you know, you don't always get what you want, or you can't always make it to that thing on the other side, but it doesn't mean you should stop trying. And he just sings the little, my feet can't cross the parking lot is way too hot. And it's just kind of up and down the scales, and I feel like that happens a little bit too much. And I've seen Animal Collective have standout vocals on their records in the past, and this just feels subpar. Diversity. I think that's the big thing that this album is missing and why I'm not enjoying it as much as I could. I feel like a lot of these synth tones and patterns are very similar. A lot of the drums kind of just like run in circles. It doesn't really feel like they're building up to anything, and then the vocals just are almost flatlining at points. I will say that the closing moment, Recycling, which just feels like kind of like an apocalyptic urgent type moment, but they don't really sell it as this over-the-top musicality. I like that track and it's growing on me. I like the little chimes that get thrown in there. It's a nice touch, so I will say that there's a nice closing, and of course the opening is fantastic as well. I cannot give enough praise to that track. You might have seen it clock inside of the top 20 on my favorite songs of 2015. Just fantastic. It's so euphoric. There's so much to praise and like about this song. I feel good when I listen. I've listened to this song probably at least 100 times when it came out, but I can't help but feel like this is one of those songs that has such a big smile on its face while it's sung. It's like something that you would see for like a brainwashing facility or something like that at Disney. The lesson for the day, and to sum it all up, there's some great songs on here. I think the best of them being tracks like Floridada, Golden Gal, Bagels, and Keiv. There's some fantastic moments and standout cuts, like I already mentioned, but then there's a lot of moments that are gonna distract you with those vocals and the way that they're layered and the way that they just bounce off of each other. It's like an explosion you can't keep up with. You can't dart your eyes back and forth forever because you don't know what you should be listening to and paying the most attention to. It's a distracted record, but it's also fantastic at times. It's very ADD, I guess would be the best way to sum it up. Me personally, I'm gonna go with a 3 for this new record, Painting With by Animal Collective. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Painting With. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Smash the like button while you're here. Maybe subscribe to the channel because friends don't let friends go unsubscribed. Thanks for 28,000 and thanks for 2,500 over on Twitter. If you're not following me there, you're missing out. I'm always tweeting off the cuff and letting you know my deepest and darkest thoughts. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys very soon right here on ARTV.